Welcome back, my friends, to The Shift. Those of you that have been tuning in for previous months and previous episodes of these videos, I was calling this monthly update, it's called The Shift Update and so on. After the last few months, these videos seem to be getting more and more theme-based, more talking about different themes and topics that are sort of combined and related. And so I was feeling the urge to get rid of the word update and go with just the shift. The words the shift instead of the shift update. So just a little bit of information regarding this little adjustment or change or whatever you want to call it. This time instead of drinking a beer as I did in the last month's video, I got a little bit of bone broth protein, vanilla flavor, and then I mix in some cacao chocolate into it with some hot water and so on. And I pretty much have this on average about 2 to 3 mornings a week. As far as my research and everything else, this is the best protein drink that you can have. It tastes really good. I'm not sponsored, of course, by Paleo Valley, but they make a chocolate version of this also. It's pretty good. I've been taking this on and off now for probably pushing 6 months. It's really good stuff. So anyway, getting into more details here about this month's video. A reminder about the class I have coming up, the New Paradigm class, August 2nd and 3rd. For those of you that are truly wanting to integrate more of your multidimensional awareness, connecting with the most powerful energies within the universe, and truly stepping into your power, that's what these classes are all about. So if you're interested, you can check more information about that on my website, or you could search New Paradigm Multidimensional Transformation on the internet. There's people around the world offering these transformational experiences for all that are interested. Again, that is August 2nd and 3rd for my next class here in close to Raleigh, North Carolina. The other thing I want to mention is about my coaching. Private coaching sessions that I offer remotely for those of you that are wanting to make some adjustments in your perceptions, mastering more of your thoughts, truly coming to terms with things that you are holding you back from more realization, connecting with your authentic self, your I am presence, more realization of your true power and your intuitive senses and so on. That information, again, is on my website. A little bit of reference to last month's video, which was moving into a balanced state. For those of you that have not seen it, I suggest you really listen to it again or really look into it. To me, I've watched that video over probably 5 or 6 times since I put it out last month. To me, that video was one of the most important videos that I have shared to date. Out of all of the hundreds of videos that I've done, I would have to say that's probably the most important video that I've done to date. One of the main reasons why is it might seem very basic information to some of you, but the main thing is is that it's the basic framework of us moving into a balanced state. It lays out the good examples and basic information. And that's pretty much what these videos are intended for. And it's going into this video again is supplying information for you to put the pieces together within your own awareness to assist you in having, say, some suggestions, techniques, and content for you to piece together your own realization, comprehending more of the changes that are taking place in your life, the changes and shifts that are taking place in your consciousness and in the world, and how you are being affected and or how you are playing a role in the changes that are currently taking place. And so every single thing that I have, my goal for all of these videos is providing the most simplest descriptions and the best examples for you to truly be able to put the pieces together within your own consciousness to where you have, say, aha, I now comprehend this to a greater degree. I now understand this to a greater degree. I see now what I have been doing that has been limiting my awareness from expanding, and so on. These are just examples of the reason why I share these videos and the reason why I talk about the topics and the themes and so on. And it pretty much goes straight into this video. And the topic for this month's video is light healing energies, as you can see in the title. Last month's video, I mentioned something that really stuck out to me afterwards. Is when I was talking about the new paradigm masterclasses, and I mentioned about the Mahatma energy, and I mentioned about how the Mahatma energy assists with aligning the different parts of your being into a balanced state. And so it was really coming to me to really dive more into that specific topic and try to explain it in some simple terms that might be more relatable to your consciousness and your awareness of what light healing energies are. So, going into, trying to make sure that my voice is coming through clearly here. Going into what is a healing energy. So, to me, a healing energy is anything that assists with imbalance moving into a more balanced state. A fractured environment into more wholeness. A fragmented consciousness into, again, more wholeness, more structured fulfillment, and so on. If you're talking about, say, the physical body and healing energy in itself, you could say if you know what a mitochondria is the part of your sort of immune system. It's the light energy workers within your being. You could do some research on what mitochondria is. But if you had the majority of your mitochondria within your physical body that were damaged and or not functioning vibrantly, for example, and you had a healing effect of something, which again, I'm going to get into more here shortly, that assisted your mitochondria in becoming more healthy, then of course that would be a healing energy that affected the mitochondria in order to be more healthy. That's just an example. Say the cells of your being becoming more healthy, if it was a healing energy that assisted that in happening, again, that's what means bringing into, say, more vibrance, bringing into more wholeness, vitality, and so on. That's what sort of be something that is sick into more a healthy state, again, would require some kind of healing to take place. A lot of times, it's not necessarily what we might view that a healing energy is taking place, but a lot of times, just for example, if you had a friend or a relative that had a traumatic experience, say a friend of theirs or an animal, the pet friend of theirs that died and passed on, and they are grieving, and you offer them support and love through your presence of being close to them and or offering that, say, love energy, again, that might assist them through their grieving, the time period of grieving over, say, the loss of their friend or their pet friend or so on. For them to truly come to terms and come more back into a balanced state of awareness and emotional balance regarding the situation of their experience. Through your love of loving that person through that time and just being there for them, again, is a healing energy. That's a healing energy event. The person, of course, has to be open to your love of them and the compassion that you're radiating on them, of course, for that healing event to take place. Some people, of course, everyone's a little bit different regarding that. But anyway, I just wanted to explain that because that's, to me, is a good example of a basic example of what a healing energy is. So, going into things a little bit deeper here, the multidimensionality of light itself. And so, when talking about light healing energies, this example came to me to really lay out the framework. A lot of times within our awareness, we can't really put the puzzle pieces together because we don't have anything in the middle to really fill the gap. And so this is the example that was coming to me to share. So a lot of people out there, and infrared or near infrared light therapy has become more and more popular. You might see some people with those infrared lights that they put on a wall or in front of them or in little panels, and they radiate infrared light, onto your body and or into the room or the sauna for which you are physically residing. The other thing is they have these masks. I see some people they put the mask on, and the near infrared light then radiates through onto your skin and so on. And so, again, we're talking about light healing energies. And this is a good example because it's more concrete. A lot of people can actually see, and they use infrared light I refer to it infrared light, but it's mainly called near infrared light. And through this the light energy. And so I'm going to lay this out here. The light energy, infrared, we've got within infrared light, we have the visible spectrum of light. When you're talking about, say, one of these red lights that you put up or on these masks and so on, you could actually see the red light. But that is within the visible spectrum of light that we could see with our eyes. Just as within the sun rays coming from the sun, we could see a certain spectrum of light. There, of course, the light spectrum that we can see with our eyes is actually very small. There is a whole nother spectrum of light that is beyond our physical vision, our visible light that we can see. Within this little diagram here, we have different waves of light energy. Ultraviolet, we have within different wavelengths of light. These are different wavelengths. So within these different spectrums, of course, you have radio waves, microwaves, ultralight, X-rays, gamma rays, everything else. And there's, again, I mentioned there's only a small percentage of the actual light that exists within our environment that we can actually see with our physical eyes. So just because you can't see it with your eyes, it does not mean it exists. It's the same thing with Wi-Fi. It's a spectrum of vibrational wavelengths that creates the Wi-Fi. So I'm just bringing this up as an example to lay all this out. Again, I'm going to be laying all this out through the video, and more as I go along, it'll make more and more sense. So going into the next thing, just like plants, humans absorb and metabolize sunlight, red light, and infrared light to boost energy and improve overall function. It's through the actual light energies that we absorb and we metabolize through our physical body, such as there's certain levels of radiation that we can have like within our area of our physical body without it damaging the physical body. Too much radiation, of course, would damage the physical body. Just like there's a time window of getting good infrared light and the spectrum, the different levels of spectrum of light coming from the sun and how it assists the physical body. But if we stay out in the sun too long, we get too much radiation, it actually harms the cells within the body and the mitochondria instead of assisting. So the main thing is, just like plants, humans absorb and metabolize sunlight and light in general. So, what are the wavelengths best for red light therapy? As I was mentioned, talking about red light therapy, wavelength of light used in any kind of light therapy is very important because it affects how light will be absorbed. And the most important word that I am pointing out right here is absorbed, because I'm going to make reference of this word absorbed over and over again through this video. It's the word absorbed that is the most important thing when it comes to light healing energies. If it's not able to be absorbed, therefore, it's either being blocked or it's too much to be absorbed, and therefore it creates more disturbance and imbalance instead of creating balance. So the absorbed part, again, I'm going to come back to referencing. So let me just get back to my little list here. A lot of times when we're talking about light, we're also talking about color. Some of you might know about this. It's say if you were going to be painting a room within your house, and there's certain colors that you feel, you make you feel a certain way. So color in itself has an effect on our mood, has effect on our mood, our outlook, our energy, because of what just the color alone is affecting our awareness. And there's been all kinds of studies out there regarding different colors and how it affects mood. Again, do your research. There's all kinds of stuff out there regarding this. So one color might make you feel blah, where other colors might make you feel more vibrant. This is a proven fact. It's not something that is some kind of conspiracy here, Let's see if I can actually do this. There we go. We got to get some of these sounds going on here. I hope you all are laughing about that little joke there. So unless actually, like in the last video, there are a lot of crickets out there not listening to a word I'm freaking saying. All right, there we go. All right. So how light, things I've laid out so far regarding light healing energies to take in consideration. One is that we only see a small portion of the visible light spectrum, of the whole spectrum of light and the different levels of light and the multidimensionality of light in general. We could only see a very small portion of it with our physical eyes. It does not mean that there are tons of different levels of light vibration and so on that exist around us. One of the most important things regarding light is how it is absorbed. So the spectrum, if you take all this, what I've laid out so far, into talking about the spectrum of light, love light energies, there are all kinds of different energies within our environment and that we have access to. So, as has been talked about by a lot of different people throughout time, to focus on love, to be love, to, just like I was giving the example earlier, how if somebody was grieving, through the love that you have for that person and just love without conditions for that person and being there while they're going through the grieving state, actually assist them in healing, coming to terms with what they're going through. So in the same way, when we're talking about love, to be love, we're talking about being the love energy in itself, to being a level of the spectrum of love light through our focus of what we're focusing on, what we have done to integrate love light within our being, not necessarily just as a mental projection, as a mental thought, as a lot of people think that love is tied to emotion, but really emotion is just an expression of what we're experiencing as love, but it's not really the love that I'm describing here. The love light energies are a whole spectrum of energies and light. It's not just energy, but it's light and different rays of light and so on that make up the whole spectrum of love light energies. So, if you think about talking about love light healing energies, and I was laying out earlier about what does, say, red light therapy really do to the cells of your being. It assists the cells and the mitochondria and so on within your being, your physical body, to come more into balance, into a more balanced state. Through the integration and absorption of that light, the cells are more healthy, they're more vibrant, and so on. In the same way, love light healing energies assist us in essentially healing the levels of our consciousness to move beyond fear, for example, to be able to let go of trauma, to let go of fear of the unknown, to truly be able to know yourself beyond the physical body, to know your connection with the universe and all that is. We integrate that knowingness through healing ourselves by integrating and focusing on loving ourselves into more wholeness and more into a balanced state, as I explained in the last video. So, by integrating more of love light energies, we assist ourselves in moving more into a more of a balanced state. That's the easiest way to explain it. The example I'm going to use is the Mahatma energy, and that's what I sort of got into in last month's video that I'm going to now explain, and as I've been laying out here, to explain this even deeper. So, the healing affects the Mahatma energy, for example, aligning your being with the crystalline energies of wholeness. Mahatma energy is just not like a certain vibrational energy, just like one of the original Reiki symbols, for example. For those of you that know what Reiki is, the Reiki symbol is only bringing a certain frequency range of energy. It really can't go beyond that frequency range. Whereas Mahatma is unlimited in a lot of different ways. It has many, many levels. It has a spectrum of levels that is available to be integrated. You could say the Mahatma energy is mostly gold with some silver and tinges of violet. To me, when I see the Mahatma energy, I see the majority of it is just gold. And tinges, or like sparkles, would be the silver and the violet, just little tinges of the pearlescent colors like flickered in. And yes, my friends, and for those of you that don't necessarily see multidimensional energies, there's a ton of people in this world that see color, see beyond the physical eyes, as I was explaining earlier in that diagram, that we have a physical spectrum of light that we can see through our physical eyes. But multidimensionally, our multidimensional vision, through our third eye, we can actually see light. We can see light energy beyond the physical light spectrum. And there's a lot. Again, do your research. If you don't, and I'm not expecting you to believe what I'm saying. It is possible. I see it. I can see light energies beyond the physical light spectrum. And I know a lot of other people do. It's not something that is some kind of special gift. More people have focused on it more than others. Some people are denying their own vision, their multidimensional vision, because they're afraid of it. They've been, they're fearful of the unknown and all this. Oh, this is some crazy shit going on here that he's talking about. So, again, these are our natural intuitive abilities, that our natural birthright to be able to access these different abilities within our being. And everyone has these abilities to some extent. It's up to us individually to truly tap into them to a greater degree, to open up these different ways of seeing and experiencing life, to sense energy in different ways than we were previously. In the same way that you could see things differently than you used to if you spend the time on it. A lot of people expect, why can't I do this? Well, have you been taking the time to actually do it? Have you been taking the time to explore it? Have you been finding with what is you holding you back? What are you holding yourself back from seeing this? Because it's right here around us, within this the whole environment on Earth, this whole other spectrum of light energies, all these other energies and so on exist here right now. It's up to every individual to integrate it, to feel it, to want to feel it, to want to experience it. It's up to everyone. So, through talking about the Mahatma energy, going back to Mahatma energy again, the key thing is absorption. You have to be open in order to, and willing to integrate it, to absorb it within your physical structure, to use it on a daily basis, to become one with it. As through that process of integration, we then move our physical structure, not only the levels of our consciousness, but our physical structure into more of a balanced state. And again, if you want to know more about what I mean by a balanced state, refer to the last video. We move more into a sustainable vibration of love energy that is beyond the dualistic spectrum that of the 3D reality. We essentially are healing ourselves out of, say, dysfunction, separation, fear, and all these other things into more of a sustainable harmony and balanced existence. So, again, using Mahatma energy as an example, it's up to us to integrate it. It's here. There are levels of Mahatma energy that exist on the planet right now. It's up to every single individual to integrate it, to absorb it. As I was talking about earlier regarding the light spectrum, And there's a certain level of, it has to be, that we're open to absorbing it. Some of it's, if it's too powerful, of course, we can't integrate it. So how do we open, we actually open up the level of, like, if you viewed your being, your physical structure, and the levels of your energetic systems as a sponge, coming from a dualistic perspective, you would be like, oh, I'm wanting to shield myself. I'm wanting to shield myself because I'm being affected by all these other crazy ass energies around me that are throwing off the stability within my being. That's coming from a dualistic perspective. The more that we heal ourselves, we move beyond the dualistic spectrum. We're no longer really affected by other energies that the perception, again, I laid this out in the last video, it's the perception of being affected by a dualistic energy is what creates the instability within your own self. It's the perception that creates the imbalance. That is what creates the scenario. Once that perception is released, you step into your power to a greater degree. You're not being affected and absorbing all of these imbalanced energies because you are balance in itself. When you step into your power to a greater degree and you're vibrating at the spectrum of love energies within your existence, imbalance is not going to exist within your being. Therefore, there's no absorption from imbalanced energies. So it all comes down to the more that we heal ourselves from all of these perceptions, these limiting beliefs, these fears, these judgments, and so on, the more we moved into a healing state, the more our energetic systems open up, and we are open like a big gigantic sponge to absorb the light healing energies that are available for everyone and everything to integrate. The pure source light energies of Mahatma, for example. The more you absorb them, the more that you become them, the more that you move into a more of a balanced state of being. You then yourself become a balance, your presence and your energy alone is balance. It is harmony and balance. Just as the statement that I used to say all the time, through your own personal transformation, you transform the world. Really look at that in reference to everything I'm sharing right here, right now. Through our personal transformation, we transform the world. It's because we become the balance within the energetic system that exists within the energetic systems of this earth. We then assist wherever we go, no matter, we don't have to be in a meditative state, just walking down the sidewalk, wherever we are physically, we're affecting the energetics of wherever we go, wherever we're talking to, wherever we're doing. Just the energetics of our vibration and the light within our being that we are radiating through this portal of light, this physical structure that we become as we continue to open up. Because in a lot of different ways, You could say, well, how could I integrate more light healing energies? One of the most important things, really look at it, is to be open enough to integrate them. In a lot of different ways, the 3D reality with the fear and the judgment and the resentment, jealousy, all kinds of lower frequency energetics, we're not open. We are essentially, that is what creates the separation from the abundance of light healing energies that are around us and they're available on the planet right now. It's not about, a lot of people talk about, and I've shared before regarding the new paradigm, the new earth, and all this other stuff. All of this, the basic framework of the new paradigm and the new earth is here right now. The only difference from the majority of the population and the people that are connecting with the new earth right now and the new paradigm is being open to absorption. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. So, anyway, hope you all still awake out there. Are you still awake? Or is it just crickets again? Hopefully there's more people still listening to what the hell I'm talking about right now. We'll see. And so, all right. I've laid out a bunch of stuff about, light healing energies. I gave the example of absorption, being open, how it actually happens, how the actual connection of non-visible light, we're open to integrating it just like red light therapy and so on. So, if we look at this becoming refined, it's moving into the next part. Refining our consciousness to see deeper and create greater connectivity. Through the process of us integrating more love light energies, for example, the Mahatma energy, we are integrating, we're refining as, the multidimensionality of light in itself. If you look at the whole light spectrum that I sort of laid out in the previous description here, taking in consideration the whole, and in that diagram, that's only talking about a certain, again, all kinds of different ranges and different vibrational wavelengths and everything else. But there's a hell of a lot even more, way beyond that. And so if we really look at the, what's talked about as the ascension process, personal transformation is another word. Personal transformation and ascension really would just be the integration of higher levels of vibrational energy within our physical being. For example, through the integration of that light, of our multidimensional light and our beingness, our multidimensional existence through the physical body, it takes refining. We're talking about refining. The word refining could also be refined like you're taking oil out of the earth and refining it into gasoline for your car. You could also say that they're refining the vibrational difference between silver and gold. The physical gold, not just the energy of, say, Mahatma gold, but there's different vibrational levels of refining, the transmutation of water into steam, for example. Refined, it's still water, even though it's in a condensed, lighter form. In the same way, that's exactly what we are doing. Everything that we have been talking about personal transformation, talking about the shift in consciousness for, some people been talking about this for more than others. Personally, I've been pushing 20 years talking about the transformation that we are going through on Earth, the shift in consciousness, and so on. This is all combined. This is the framework of how it's happening. So it's not some kind of belief system. This is every single thing that I've laid out here is not a belief system. This is not a religion. This is the actual framework of how this transformation that is currently taking place on Earth. I'm not saying all this for you to believe anything that I am saying. Do not believe anything I'm saying. Integrate this truth within your own self. Do the research. Feel and experience these energies. Integrate and absorb these energies within your being yourself. Experience them. See beyond the physical vision. Damn. I don't know if that was funny or not. But anyway. Moving on here. So, moving into the next part. Talked about refining. The refining in itself is the same thing to me as ascension. Without refining, there is no change. Ascension in itself is change. All these things are related. It's all connected. Everything is connected regarding what we have experienced, what we've learned about it, what we came aware of in the past. Now everything is coming together. Everything's moving more into wholeness. And we are able to see how everything is connected. And all this different stuff regarding light healing energy is connected. So, moving into the next part, the importance of gaining discernment of the source of the energy being used. I've gotten into this in previous videos and previous years, talked about all this. There is all kinds of distractions on this earth, intended distractions to keep people disempowered, in a disempowered state of being, so they're not truly stepping into their power and realizing this whole game of manipulation that has been taking place on the planet. The good thing is a lot more people are waking up now. A lot more people are seeing through the deception. They're seeing through the corruption. They're letting go of the dualistic views, good, bad, light, dark. They're letting go of the dualistic, say, separation and seeing the truth for what it is. In the same way, there are a lot of tricksters out there regarding energy. When talking about healing energies, when talking about channeling and so on, there's a lot of tricksters. So it's very important to build your levels of discernment regarding healing energies, the word healing. The fake matrix is real. There are fake matrix tricksters out there trying to sway people, corrupt their energy systems with fake matrix programs, codes, all kinds of crap, really, that distorts the absorption of the true light healing energies, such as Mahatma. So, without getting into that topic too much, going down that path, it just provide the importance for having greater clarity of where you're getting and where you feel the energies that you're tapping into, where it's coming from. Identify and feel discernment. Use your body as a level of discernment tool. Be able to discern if it's a love light, if it's coming from the spectrum of love light energies, or if it's not within that spectrum of light energies, to be able to feel, physically feel the difference. Up until this point, if you're not been feeling, you're not able to feel the energetic vibrations of different levels of energies and truly tap in and feel the difference between love light, say Mahatma energy, and other energies, then this is the time to work on it. Work on those levels of discernment. Don't just continue on the path of what you've been doing up until this point, because you very well, what I've seen, the majority of people still are, our energetic systems are majorly corrupted with all kinds of programs and energetic blocks and all kinds of other shit that's limiting, again, the absorption. We get into that within the New Paradigm Masterclasses. We assist with a lot of that clearing. Again, that's a tool for your experience if you wish to go there. But the main thing is to become aware that we, as humans, are becoming aware of things that we were not able to see and experience before. So therefore, it's very important as we expand our awareness, expand our consciousness, to see what has been restricting us up until this point and continually refine. If you are going through the same patterns that you were years and years ago, refine it. Become more aware of where you're getting energy from. Tap in to your authentic self, your I am presence, your divine self to a greater degree, to integrate and have more discernment. It's incredibly important. It's incredibly important. It's just not even, I don't even know how else to describe the importance of that. But it is. And this pretty much goes into the next part of do you define yourself as a healer? And, the dualistic nature of spiritual and belief healing, for example. I think I described this in last month's video also. Anything that runs through our mental mind is going to have degrees of dualistic energy or dualistic views from it, because we're essentially, this physical existence is within a dualistic reality. And so if we are viewing ourselves as a healer, for example, and coming from a standpoint of a spiritual healer or a spiritual, I'm going to heal someone of whatever they got going on. Either it's an imbalance within their physical body or an imbalance within their consciousness or whatever they have going on. Say if it's physical injury, if it's an illness, disease, or whatever. if you're going to come from the standpoint of healing that person from a spiritual or belief healing, some people, this is coming from a belief that you can heal that person. Of course, you're probably energetically going to affect that person in some way. As quantum physics is across the board, okay? Everything we look at, perceive, and so on, we are affecting. In the same way, if you are essentially doing spiritual or belief healing, you're going to affect that other person in some way. But most likely, it's going to be in a dualistic manner. It's going to be tied into the dualistic spectrum. The energies that you're going to be essentially using are going to be not within the love light spectrum, which are love without conditions. Meaning that there is no, you're loving the other person, of course, but you with intent through what a lot of people do with spiritual and belief healing is through their intention and what they want to happen because they see something's out of place in the other person. It's like, I'm going to fix this. I am going to heal this person. And to me, and a lot of people might necessarily not like to hear this, but that is ego. Ego is involved in spiritual and belief healing. That it just is what it is. When you look at all of the energetics, what creates what, and all the different things, through our intention, we can create imbalance just as much as we can create balance. We can affect other things in a dualistic manner strictly through our intention of seeing that something's out of place. But the main thing is, truly, underlying everything else, if we truly come to terms with things of how everything works, we will see that every single individual on this planet, we create a lot of these imbalances within the body through our consciousness, through the energetics of our conscious focus. If we're continually focusing in fear, if we're holding on to trauma from an event from an early childhood, if we're continually worrying all the time, and or if we're continually judging and hating other people all the time, again, those are levels of vibration that are flowing through the body that are creating imbalance within the physical body. So the healing part, if we truly see that we are the creators of our own, take responsibility for our own creations. We are fully 100% responsible for our physical existence and every single thing that happens to us. If we fully comprehend that, then we will see that if we try to heal someone, we might be able to clear some energy. We might be able to move some things around. We might be able to create some short-term, you could say short-term change within that person. But if the person does not change their views, if they don't release their beliefs and or fears or all this energy that they essentially use to create the imbalances, and they don't change any of these patterns, whatever is changed within the physical body through these, spiritual intentions or belief healing, essentially the imbalances are just going to reform. The balance, and a lot of you out there that do any type of energy therapy will see this, because you basically work with a person, You talk with them, you do energetic clearing of the body. And then next thing you know, a week or two later, the people are calling you back up and saying, hey, I want another session because what you cleared a couple weeks ago, I felt pretty good for a short period of time, but now the blockage or whatever I was going through is back again. I want you to clear me again. So again, the reason why I'm sharing all this is to come to terms with what truly is going on here. True healing happens when we, as individuals, make changes within ourselves that change the energetic light energy within ourselves, that change the vibration within ourselves through our consciousness changes. That is true healing. So in reality, we do not really heal others. It's impossible to truly heal someone 100% of a scenario. We can only truly heal ourselves through our own focus and our own changes, our own personal transformation of integrating more and more vibrational, say, balanced healing energies within ourselves is what creates more long-term true change in healing. So, again, I know a lot of people don't necessarily align with what I just shared there. But truly look at things on a much broader, more expanded level. You will see that we are the only true healing energy. We heal ourselves through our own personal transformation and change. We can assist other people in aligning themselves with change. We can clear a person's energetic systems of what's been restricting them in a way. And then hopefully they will change something within their levels of awareness and their levels of belief systems and their perception of themselves to the point that the change that we made and assisted them with then takes effect more on a long-term basis. So anyway, just take all that stuff in consideration. Are you really assisting people on the long term? Are you truly being authentic and truthful with yourself and the people you are assisting if you're doing things on a belief level, if you're doing things coming from a belief standpoint? Take the beliefs out of the whole equation. Strictly look at things from a vibrational standpoint and looking at how imbalance is created in the first place. So moving into the next part here. Training your awareness. It's your awareness that focuses on what level of your being you perceive life through. Every single thing that I've talked about here is about becoming more aware of what we are creating and how we're creating, building greater levels of discernment. Training your awareness is sort of like if people don't take the time to truly become aware of what their ego says and discerning between the ego and, say, their I am presence, it's very challenging to, say, have any discernment about what level of your multidimensional self are you really listening to. If you're just been listening to your ego the whole time and you continue to judge and all this other stuff, you 100% of the time listen to the ego, you're not really training a daggone thing. You're just channeling your ego. You're not really evolving. You're not changing. You're not refining yourself. And so training your awareness training and being able to train your ego, to train and love things into more of a balanced state. Training your process of how you perceive energies, how we integrate energies, how we sense and live. Because every single thing that's around us that is organic in nature is of light energy. It's a matter of us truly integrating that awareness and being able to live more in the abundance of what is available right here, right now. So that moves us to the final part of this video. Every single thing that I've shared here is about becoming the conduit of the multidimensional self. When we are integrating more love, light, energies, we become, such as Mahatma, we become the conduit of the Mahatma love energy, the spectrum of the love of the Mahatma love, the spectrum of the Mahatma love energies. The more and more we absorb it, the more and more we use it, the more and more we transmute and transform the levels of our consciousness and the levels of our being into the pure conduit of our multidimensional existence. The multidimensionality of the other aspects of our being, our multidimensionality, is able to flow through us more freely because we've opened up these levels in order for all of this information and all this light energy and so on to be able to allow it to flow. It flows more freely like a rushing river instead of a stream that we essentially have dammed up. And so, becoming the conduit, there's nobody else going to be able to truly open up the doors of this conduit of who we are unless we take the time to do it ourselves. So, I hope that what I have shared here today in this video assists you in putting together the pieces of how different levels of how light energy affects us, how these different things play a role in our own personal transformation. I hope that you got something out of this. If you did, every single thing that I have shared here has been worth it. If you have any comments or questions regarding what I have shared here, please post them in the YouTube comment section and hit the like button. The more comments and the likes that are shared on the YouTube videos assist with how YouTube actually shares the videos, the algorithm. So as I've mentioned before, if you're able to share some comments, if you're able to hit the like button and so on, this really assists with how this video is shared through YouTube. I'd like to hear any comments or say questions. I'm open to any questions about what I've talked about here. I think I've laid it out in the most simplest and easiest terms that I could have regarding light energy, the vibration of all these energies that are currently present around us, the infinite love that is present right here, right now, around everyone. Everyone's, but the feel, there are people out there, it's like, I feel lack of love. I am not this. I am not that. I am not powerful enough to do that. I'm not powerful enough to do this. I am not God. I am not this. I am not that. That is what creates the separation. All of us have an aspect of our own beingness, which is God itself. There's another aspect of our being, which is Source itself, the source of all light and energy within existence. We just have to be open to be able to comprehend it. So, all right, my friends, I think that's it for this one. Again, if you have any questions, post it in the YouTube question section. Please share this video with other people that this information may get out and assist others with putting the pieces together of being and truly opening up to the change that is currently taking place on Earth. Let me know. I am open here if you have any questions. Until next time, my friends, Shambhala on to the whole of the earth on all levels. Shambhala and Mahatma on to all beings in all forms on the planet. Radiate, 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 my friends. Live it. Be it. I will see you next time.